These seniors have been a big part of our volleyball program for the last 4 years. They're hardworking and dedicated players who have strived to be their best and have helped our team qualify for the state tournament this year. We will miss them and we wish them the best. Now our seniors. Number 7, Zoe Buds. Number 17, Leah Sloan. Number 18, Kay Patrick. Number 20, Emily Burnett. Number 41, Cynthia Patrick. Number 5, Captain Emily Klein. And number 9, Captain Gabby Halsey. Thank you to all of our parents for all of their support. Coaches have enjoyed working with all of these seniors and wish them continued success in the future. Best of luck to all the seniors from both Conard and Hull.
For Hall, junior number 4 libero, Grace D'Amato. Senior number 31, Captain Erica Rothenberg. Junior number 7, Jackie O'Connor. Senior number 35, Shannon Manchester. Senior number 27, Noah Malone. Senior 32, Captain Nina Moranchi. Sophomore number 38, Sophia Pedro.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to High School Sports here on Channel 5, as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. Tonight, it's volleyball action as the Conard Chieftains play host to the Hall Warriors here at the Conard Gym. Pete Lamoureux, along with John Beignet and our fine WHC-TV crew, as these two teams have both qualified for the state tournament. Hall checks in at 10-8, while Conard checks in at 8-8, but different routes to get here. The Warriors trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, while Kerry Roller's team on a bit of a roll. They've won 7 of their last 9. Pleased to be working again with longtime West Hartford coach and educator John Beignet. And John, we have a tough act to follow based on the match that we had a year ago that went the full distance with the 5. Should be very competitive here again tonight.
Should be, actually. I was thinking about it just before you went on air, and if it's anything like last year's match, it should be outstanding. I'm looking forward to a real competitive match tonight.
Yeah, should be good. And again, CCC aspirations on the line in terms of qualifying for the tournament. Now the crowd rising for the national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the
national anthem here at Conard. Festive atmosphere, to say the least. Very, very vocal contingents brought by both schools.
Yeah, thank goodness the football team just walked into the building and made it that much more difficult here. But no, the whole Conard event draws all kinds of fans and interest, so it's great to have this kind of atmosphere.
Dave Kerouac and Suzanne Elbert are the officials today. The War Chief Sports Council would like to thank our game-changing sponsors for tonight's broadcast. At the all-state level, Keating Insurance, Macca Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC, Counselors at Law, and ESPN. At the captain's level, Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, Coastal Tool and Rob Ludgen, the Conard and Hall PTO, and at the all-conference level, Allied Printing. Conard, of course, dressed in the customary red, Hall with the blue, as we get set to go. One and only matchup this time around. They used to meet twice a year, but this time this is the sole meeting between the two squads, as again, aspirations, and maybe you can explain it better than I can, John, in terms of what happens with the CCC tournament.
Well, there's 5 people kind of vying for 4 positions, and today's matches all around the area are going to determine who plays in that top 4. So Hall, Conard, Windsor, Buckley, and Weaver are all looking for an opportunity to play in the CCC. Obviously, winning tonight here would be a big advantage for both, or either Conard or Hall.
Gabby Halsey put it in play with the serve, and we're underway. Best of 5, and the first point of the match goes to the visiting team from Hall. So they'll get the serve, and they'll put it in play, led by Erica Rothenberg, 2-year starter, captain, and tremendous potential, according to her head coach, Jim Holt. Play at the net. This is a shot by McConnell, and it's answered by the Conard Chieftains. There's McConnell again, keeping it in play for Hall. Big spike attempt, and a good job with the dig by the Chieftains. Long point right there, and that goes to the Warriors. Back and forth they went, John, and it's 2-0 for Hall.
Yeah, a little bit conservative. I think initially everyone's, trying to work the nerves out a little bit, but yeah, good rally for sure.
Rothenberg with her second consecutive serve. Played in the offseason for the Shock. And the ball goes into the net. And a good start for the Warriors. They've lost 3 consecutive games. They come in here having been defeated consecutively by Plainville, East Catholic, and Glastonbury. Another terrific serve. Jim Holt talked about the serving of Rothenberg, and she's off to a great start.
Yeah, and at every level of serving, if you have a team or individuals that can serve the ball aggressively, it's a huge advantage. It puts the other team on their heels, and literally, like football or basketball, can take a team out of their offensive set. Volleyball is much like basketball in that there's a system of play, and the service disrupts that system. It's a huge advantage.
So she won 3 consecutive on her serve. Conard answers. And now Emily Burnett, front row player, will be serving for Carrie Roller's team. Good deep serve that time, but answered by the Warriors. Spike attempt at the net by Shannon Manchester, and that goes long, and it's 4-2.
Yeah, she took a good swing at it. It was a little over her head. That tends to make the ball fly out. And generally we tell our hitters to try to keep the ball in front of them so that they can hit down on it a bit more. So I'm sure she'll make an adjustment.
Another big play at the net by the Warriors. And they answer and have a 5-2 lead. Conard, as we said, winners of 7 out of 9. They had a slow start to the campaign. Of course, as Carrie Roller talked about to me, she said, hey, we played Glastonbury, we played Southington, we played Plainville. It was a tough start to our season, but they've certainly responded. Big play at the net by Moranchek, but it was answered by Conard. And in the other direction, the point goes to the Conard Chieftains, and it's 5-3.
Slowly starting to warm up, getting a little confidence. Moranchek, I saw her years ago when she was an 8th grader at a volleyball clinic of mine. she's a real hard worker and a pleasure, I'm sure, to coach.
Certainly very proud of her is Jim Holt, the head coach. In fact, he said she's one of only 2 4-year complete starters in the history of the program. And Nina Moranchik, recruited by Western Connecticut State University, on her way to Danbury to play at the next level.
Good for her. Good for her. I think she's going to fit right in there nicely. You know what the kind of player she is, and you know how hard she works. That program.
Off the Manchester serve, ball is knocked around, and it's Conard getting the point, and it's 6-3. Carrie Roller, the head coach, 19 years at Conard. Played herself as an all-stater in Massachusetts at Chelmsford. Went on to play D1 volleyball in college at Rutgers. Play is back-tapped at the net. And again, our officials, Dave Kerouac and Suzanne Elbert, conferring. And they've decided that Conard gets the point.
Yeah, unfortunately, a Hall player brushed up against the net trying to defend that ball coming over, and the point went over to Conard.
And Conard serving down by a point. They can get even, and they have. So after Hall started with a 4-0 advantage, it's a 6-2 run for the Chieftains. And they've tied game 1 of this best of 5 at 6-6. And the serve down the right sideline. And it looked like it hit the line there, John. It's going to be a point for the Chieftains.
Yeah, Moranchik thought otherwise, but the linesman called it in. That's how it goes. That's how you have to play the ball. If you're not sure, you probably should play it.
And who do we have serving now for Conard?
This is Cynthia Pettifoot, and she's a real hard worker. She's a wonderful, wonderful teammate for the rest of the kids. We're lucky to have her and her sister both be on the team. Twins.
Certainly a family situation there, as the game is now tied at 7. And getting in set to put it in play, Noah Malone for the Hall Warriors, one of 7 seniors playing for Jim Holt, now in his 4th year as the head coach. Great story that he's made over the years. He was the JV coach for his wife at South Windsor for 17 consecutive years, decided to move on and come to West Hartford. And now in his 4th year at the helm of the Hall Warriors, and he's seen marked improvement every time around. Warriors going, as we said, through a bit of a rough patch. 3 consecutive losses at the hands of Plainville, East Catholic, and Glastonbury. But at 10-8, they've assured themselves of a winning regular season. They played very solidly, started off 7-3 in the 2016 campaign. Finesse move at the net, made that time by Moranchik. And did she brush up against the net that time, Chuck?
The Chieftains brushed up against the net. And the last server was Cynthia Pettifoot. I got the names mixed up. Kay was 18. They're not going to let me forget that one anytime soon, so I apologize, Chris.
So here's Noah Malone continuing the serve for the Warriors. Big block at the net that time by Hall.
Kelly Eagle, our middle hitter, took a great swing at that. She's just about to serve. A Hall player went up to block it, got a piece of it, but then on a follow through hit the net. Back to Conard.
And the chant of "You can't do that" from the Conard faithful on the other side. And the Chieftains have now taken a 10-7 advantage. A young squad for Carrie Roller. Couple of underclassmen in the starting lineup. And John, you've definitely seen some talent come along through your freshman team this year.
Yeah, the last 2 years have been good years for our program in terms of freshman talent. This year we have 5 girls playing 4 up at JV and 1 starting varsity. And the girls on my freshman team are going to really be contributing for the next 3 years as well. So it's a good problem to have. Unfortunately, some upperclassmen have had to kind of relinquish some of their time. But we're competing and trying to get better every day, and those younger kids are really pushing us. It's a good thing for our program.
It really is. Makes the team get better as a whole. Shot towards the left corner, and it's good by the Warriors. Well-placed ball like that, so hard to defend.
I was just going to say, I was in the coffin corner over there. Zoe made a great attempt to try to get to it. We're just too good.
Conard 11, Hall 9. As the Warriors put it in play. Kept alive, but the points goes to Hall. And they've climbed back into within one as we have a seesaw battle here in the opening game. Great effort by Conard. John, they weren't able to save it, but boy, they gave it the college try.
Yeah, they did. It was another good serve that wasn't passed quite as well. Like I said earlier, that the tough serve can really put pressure on the team's defense.
So we're tied at 11. Good return by the Chieftains here. Blocked well at the net. And it goes out of bounds. And it's 12-11. Jim Holt talked about the fact he had 60 kids try out, and he was really impressed by that. He said it's part and parcel to the evolution of the program the 4 years that he's been here. He's gotten more and more attention, and certainly volume like that is really a good thing, isn't it?
It is. Jim does a great job in his program, obviously, and he's had quality kids go through. And you know, there's a lot of youngsters out in the crowd right now that are watching them, and you know, it's a new sport. It's a really fun sport. I love it, and you know, little by little, it's growing and growing in this town. It's great to see.
Serve goes long, and we're tied at 12-12. The War Chief Sports Council would like to thank our game-changing sponsors at the varsity level: Low Tide Photography, Dave Newman Photography, Blue Plate, Fast Eddie, West Hartford Youth Basketball, West Hartford Boys Travel Basketball, and the Open Arm Christian Ministries. As well as at the varsity level, Final Cut Barbershop, Edward Connors Insurance, Stanley and Elaine Phillips, Beth Barry Brown of the William Ravis Agency, and West Hartford Girls Lacrosse. Thanks to one and all for your sponsorship of the War Chief Sports Council, the official booster clubs of Hall and Conard High School Sports. Pete Lamoureux along with John Beignet and our fine WHC TV crew. First of 4 broadcasts that we have within the next week. Our schedule continues with a soccer doubleheader next week on November 1st at Conard. We'll have the girls soccer at 4, the boys soccer at 6, and then on Wednesday, November 2nd, our debut field hockey broadcast at 6 o'clock from Chalmers Stadium at Hall as the Warriors play host to the Chieftains. Here's the play. McConnell with the shot. And good velocity by Jackie McConnell that time, the junior, really coming into her own as a player, and got a chance to watch this team earlier a couple of weeks ago, and she was a standout player then and made a standout play right here.
Yeah, it was great swing at the ball and put it in a gap between a couple of players. Catherine Dang couldn't really get behind it and pass it well, so yeah, well done.
Jackie, another one of those players who gained experience in the offseason with the Shock, and called by her coach Jim Holt as just a solid young lady. And there she is again. It's tipped, and it's going to be another point for Hall. And they have a 16-14 advantage.
Yeah, it's funny. Volleyball is a game of bunches of points. And for, like my younger kids say, we lost to Hall sadly, but we got a bunch of points went against us, and we just never quite recovered. But these more experienced players understand that that's just the way it goes, and that's what makes, I think, the game exciting, because you can get right back into the game, even if you're back a couple, 3 or 4 points. It's just a great game play.
A lot of peaks and valleys for sure, and definitely if you're one team or the other, you want to capitalize when you have momentum on your side, and Uncle Mo, as they call it, certainly belonging to the Warriors right now. They're up 17-14 as they continue on the serve. Erica Rothenberg, one of the better servers for this All-Warrior team. Another one of those players who waited her turn, and in the last 2 years as a starter has played extremely well. Big point right there for the Chieftains, if for no other reason, John, to stem the tide and climb back to within 2.
Yeah, side out's always good when the other teams make a little bit of a run. They just mishandled that pass a little bit. They got themselves a little in between. So let's see what Conard can do here.
Off the serve. There's McConnell again with the shot. And she nails it. And it's 18-15. So now Jackie McConnell, the junior, will serve for the Warriors. Good hard serve. And it's 19-15. Talking to Carrie Roller, she said that your program definitely emphasizing the serve more and more this year, and it certainly can be a great weapon if you can. What makes a good serve, John?
Well, any overhand, you have to have a good overhand type of swing, some good mechanics, like throwing a football or baseball, hitting an overhead, and badminton or tennis is all pretty much the same kind of motion. And our girls, if they haven't done any of those things that I just mentioned, they struggle a little bit early on. So we try to throw as much as we can, try to mimic that serving motion as often as we can. And down the stretch, a number of my girls that were struggling are really coming around. It's just a shame that the season just ended. But, for those new kids, it's something that they have to really work at.
I was going to ask you to draw the analogy between that serve and a tennis serve, for instance.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same motion. And obviously with a different object or an implement in your hand. But if you can serve or hit an overhead or serve in tennis, you can serve a volleyball. If you play softball and you can throw, you can serve a volleyball. So those things transfer very well.
20-17, Hall in front. Shannon Manchester, senior middle hitter, getting set to serve. Jim Holt talked about how she uses her 6-foot frame to her advantage. Good point there for the Chieftains. Manchester tried with the diving attempt as she's replaced by Grace Amato in the lineup. Grace competed very hard to win the libero spot. Very, very vocal and a good leader on this team. And an infraction right there.
Yeah, that's if you watch at home, you see a setter play the ball straight up for a hitter to hit it. If the ball rotates at all, it has a lot of spin on it, that means you hit it more with one hand than the other. That's called a double hit. So it's got to be pushed equally with both hands, kind of like a vertical chest pass, if you will. So if you see a violation when someone's setting and the official will hold up 2 fingers, that's a double hit.
21-19. The Hall Warriors in front. Noah Malone serving for the Warriors. She had a record. She made 23 consecutive successful serves at one point, John.
Holy cow. That's worth a steak dinner or something. I hope she bought a lottery ticket that night too. That's remarkable. That's great. We give our girls if they get 10 in a row, we go give them a certificate for ice cream in town somewhere. But stay for 23, coach should take her out for a steak dinner or something someplace.
Exactly. And as soon as I said that, she lost her serve, of course.
Apologies.
You're right. Murphy's Law, Lamoureux's Law. Good block at the net that time. Nicole Abrahamson skying and sending it back to sender.
Great defense there by Nicole. Got nice and high, fouled a hitter, and put that ball right back over. So now we're 21-21.
Just what we expected, coming down to the wire, not only in the match, but in the opening game. Big hit that time by Nina Moranchik.
Another powerful swing. She just approaches the ball so effortlessly, great timing, and obviously they finished it with a lot of force. Great hit.
And she gets the serve. There's McConnell with the shot. And it's 23-21. And a timeout being taken by Kerry Roller and the Conard Chieftains. The War Chief Sports Council would like to remind everybody that the annual tailgate party will be held at Town Hall on Saturday night, November 12th from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. Tickets can be ordered on the website at www.war-chief.net. That's 3Ws.war-chief.net. Cost is $50 per person, $20 for Hall and Conard coaches. The party is 1 week prior to the football showdown at Chalmers Stadium. Of course, Hall hosting Conard this year in an even year. But again, it's the annual tailgate at Town Hall Saturday night, November 12th, 6:30 to 10:30. What do you think Kerry Roller right there, John Beignet, was saying within the huddle?
Well, you got to get a side out here, obviously. Try to get the serve out of Hall's hands. That makes it 23-22. And then, hopefully make a little run with the next server coming up.
So here's Moranchik. Again, only the second player from Hall Volleyball to be recruited to play in college. And I think, did that serve hit the line?
That looked like it was called in. For you baseball fans out there, if you watch that on replay at home, that was a floater or a knuckleball, and that thing just fell off the table right in bounds. That happens a lot in this game.
So Hall serving for the opening game. They're up 24-21. Conard trying to stay alive. And the hit at the net is rejected, and the Hall Warriors have won it by the count of 25-21 as they draw first blood in this best 3 out of 5.
Yeah, nice finish for Hall. They had a good serve that dropped in, was a tough one, and then we just took a missed swing at that last hit. Conard's got to continue to do what they just did, continue to be aggressive at the net, blocking, trying to swing like Nicole just did, and that's the kind of their bread and butter. So hopefully we'll see more of that this second set.
John, as a longtime coach, put yourself in Jim Holt's position for a second. Your team comes in here off 3 consecutive match losses. How important on the road in the hostile environment is it to get that first game?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, especially in this Hall Conard series. I'm not going to believe anyone that says they weren't nervous, all those kids out there. So, take some pressure off, obviously, Hall, and, makes them feel a little bit better about how they're playing right now. So Conard, it's got to kind of dig down and, fundamentally be sound and be aggressive and, try to get themselves back into this match. So, it's a huge advantage, I think, emotionally for them.
Again, thanks for watching as we present high school sports here on WHC-TV Channel 5. Pete Lamoureux along with John Beignet and our fine crew. And we'd like to thank the people who also make it possible via their sponsorship of the War Chief Sports Council at the all-state level. Heating Insurance, MACA Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC Counselors at Law, and the fine folks at ESPN, the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. Also, our sponsors at the captain's level: Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, Coastal Tool and Rob Ludkin, the Conard and Hall PTO, and at the all-conference level, Allied Printing. And if you'd like more information on how you can get involved with sponsorship of the War Chief Sports Council, go to their website, www.war-chief.net, war-chief.net. And again, to plug our schedule for next week, soccer doubleheader on Tuesday the 1st, all emanating from McKee Stadium right here at Conard. Hall at Conard girls at 4 o'clock, and then the boys play at 6. And then we'll come at you from Hall on Wednesday, November 2nd. It'll be field hockey at Chalmers Stadium. Again, the Warriors playing host to Conard, and the opening face-off that night is set for 6 o'clock. And our fall schedule, of course, will culminate with the football showdown this year at Hall on Saturday afternoon, November 18th. Opening kickoff there at 1 o'clock as Matt Sersosimo's Chieftains take on Frank Robinson's Hall Warriors. So it'll be Hall with the opening serve here in Game 2 as they won the opener 25-21. The Hall faithful into it as they get the opening point of the second game.
Yeah, the server just got rewarded for a great aggressive serve. That was just a little bit too hot to handle for the Chieftains.
So now it's Conard's opportunity to try to answer. And a good shot at the net that time by Shannon Manchester, proving you don't always have to have the best velocity, just good placement.
No, a lot of times in this game, even if you try to hit one with force and you miss-hit it, it's kind of like an off-speed pitch. People are back on their heels waiting for that, ball to come real quickly, and then all of a sudden it drops in front of you, and you're just kind of literally caught on your heels, and that kind of what happened. You'll see that a couple more times before tonight's over, I'm sure.
Shot going out. So here's Kate DiGiacomo getting set to serve for the Chieftains. And the point goes to Hall, and it's 3-1. Want to talk a little bit about DiGiacomo. Carrie Roller singing her praises. Impact player is a 9th grader, and that's something you don't see at the varsity level too often, is it, John?
No, not at all. We haven't had a setter like her for years, never as a freshman. So, she's one of the most consistent people at that position that I've seen the varsity play all year. She knows the game. She's a good athlete. Her skills are right on, and she's a competitor. So I expect her to do really great things here, or continue to do great things here as she progresses.
3-sport athlete. She also plays hoops and lacrosse. And she certainly comes by her volleyball acumen very honestly. Her mom, the 5-year head coach at Northwest Catholic.
Yeah, Jeannie is a great coach, obviously, at Northwest. And, she's a competitor. She came to our practices a couple times and helped out. And, she's all about, winning, getting better. She's great intensity. Her dad, DJ, I know as well personally. And, both of those two are very intense people, so I can see where she gets it. Catherine
Ding, a junior, an outside hitter, known for a strong flat serve, getting set to put it in play for the home team. 5-2, Hall in front, and now a point for the Chieftains. And so they look to climb back into this game. I would think to emphasize again how important this game is to draw even, but we saw 2 exceptions last year, 2-0 deficits overcome.
Yeah, it's this game is crazy, especially with this rivalry the way it is. You could throw the records, like they say, the old cliche, right out the window. And again, it's a game of momentum and bunches of points, and they can come when you least expect it. So it should be a good match. I have to call my wife, though, I think, and tell her that it's going to be a little later than I expected, unfortunately.
2 straight on Ding's serve as she's trying to get Conard even. They're down 5-4. Good diving attempt and a save by the Chieftains. But Hall gets the point. The net violation, as John says, and it's 6-4. Here's Jackie McConnell serving for the Warriors. Good save by Gabrielle Halsey. And Ding just couldn't quite come up with that one for the Chieftains. And it's 7-4. Fortuitous, I think, for the Chieftains. I think Halsey almost a miss hit that time, but Hall couldn't answer.
Yeah, there's that miss that we're talking about. They're expecting a really hard swing at the ball, and it kind of just died off their block into the net. And again, it happens more often than you think.
Big hit that time by Nina Moranchik, flexing her muscles at the net. And she's given Hall an 8-5 advantage as they turn to Shannon Manchester to put the ball in play. Ding, a good answer for the Chieftains. Good touch and finesse play at the net by Conard. Big hit right there by Moranchik. She is really getting red hot in this game.
Yeah, she's in the flow right now, and you know, the more you see kids like her play, you can definitely say that, or see rather, that they're at a different level than most high school players. She's a great athlete. I mean, it's powerful, great timing. It's just fun to watch her.
And you can see it's very evident why she holds the kill and hit record at Hall High School.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, the way she's swinging, she had one was blocked just a couple points ago, and they set her right back immediately. She just got her feet underneath, went up and crushed one right through the block. So yeah, she's a competitor too. Coaches love that.
10-5. The Warriors right now doubling up the Chieftains on the scoreboard in game 2. Another Manchester serve, but this one goes into the net. Point Conard. And now Emily Kalina, senior captain. Excellent blocker. Also captain of the girls tennis team, putting the ball in play. And thanks to Nicole Abramson and Hall unable to respond, Conard 2 consecutive points. It's 10-7.
Yeah, there's a couple plays players can make at the net. They can really pound the ball at someone, or they can try to just tip it to a gap on either side of them. And Nicole's pretty adept at doing that, so nice play by her.
Again, she started relatively young and was a starter as a sophomore last year, correct?
Yeah, she was. She's really grown as a player. It's nice to see her be at the level she's at as well. But you know what? She plays a lot in the off season. She works real hard at her game, so no surprise. That's how you get better. So, good for her.
11-8 the score. Speaking of the offseason, talking with Jim Holt, he had a lot of praise for the Shock program. Talked about how a lot of players in town play for that.
Yeah, there's a Shock. There's a Husky. There's clubs like growing in number because, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of interest in the youngsters coming out and playing, and people playing in the off season. So, you gotta play this game to get better at it, like any skilled sport game. So I think everyone around the area is seeing the benefits of kids playing more in the off season and practicing and all physical training as well.
And when you talk about supply and demand with 60 kids battling for 25 spots in the case of the Hall Warriors, Jim Holt said, the better players are going to improve themselves and play in the offseason, and those are the ones that definitely have a step up.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess it's kind of a vetting process, as it goes on from one year to the next. And the real deciding factor is how much time do you put in. And then that becomes evident as soon as tryouts start in the fall. So, yeah, it's great for all the programs around kids playing in the offseason.
13-8 the score. Hall with the 5-point advantage as they continue to serve. Good sliding save that time by the Conard Chieftains. And unfortunately for Conard, the ball shot into the net by Abramson. 14-8, and another timeout taken by Carrie Roller and the Conard Chieftains. Again, the War Chief Sports Council. I'd like to thank our game-changing sponsors at the varsity level: Low Tide Photography, Blue Plate, Dave Newman Photography, Fast Eddie, the West Hartford Youth Basketball Program, the West Hartford Boys Travel Basketball Team, Open Arm Christian Ministries, Final Cut Barbershop, Edward Connors Insurance, Stanley and Elaine Phillips, Beth Barry Brown of the William Ravis Agency, and West Hartford Girls Lacrosse. Thanks to one and all for your continued sponsorship of the War Chief Sports Council. John, you were pointing out to me when I got here early this afternoon during the JV game how great the new and improved gym looks here at Conard.
Yeah, it's great. It's so much brighter, and they did what a basketball coach I think loves, is to have fewer lines on the court and see that beautiful wood underneath it. And, there could be a couple more lines for the side courts and what have you, but I'm sure practice won't suffer that much. But yeah, it looks beautiful in here. It's so much brighter. It's just a nice environment.
It really is. And again, throughout West Hartford, all the athletic complexes really first rate.
Yeah, when my son went through back a while ago, they were just, the turf had just put in, and since then he's a 30-year-old guy now, and you look around at every high school, and there's turf fields, and the gyms have all this high-tech flooring and water fountains, and it's just so much nicer for the athletes and their performance. The tracks are rubberized, and it's just like college level facilities. It's great.
Yeah, it really is. 14-11 the score. Ball with the 3-point lead. So they try for a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 series. And the shot goes into the net. Point to Conard. And Carrie Roller's timeout, seeming to help her squad as they're back to within 2. Good serve and a good answer by the Warriors. Good return of serve that time by Noah Malone to end up getting the point.
Yeah, she did, and then put it back over, and Felly Eagle in the middle tried to hit it back at him, but she just fouled through into the net. If Felly can continue to play aggressively in the middle on offense and defense, that'll often has given the Chieftain a spark of energy. And there was a couple points ago where a Hall person, I didn't see her number, tried to hit. Felly was right in the middle. She tried to hit around her, and the ball didn't go where she wanted. So she can be a presence in there and make things happen.
Off the rare errant Hall serve. Conard back to within 2. Good save that time by Grace Amato to keep it alive for Hall. And McConnell couldn't negotiate that one. She had a tough angle in her defense that time. And it's 15-14. And the serve by DiGiacomo goes long, and it's 16-14 for Hall. This is Erica Rothenberg. Back-to-back points for Hall, and they've opened up a 3-point lead.
Yeah, a little change-up. She served that ball short to Felly in the front row. She wasn't expecting it and just mishandled a little bit.
Big, strong put away by McConnell that time. And it's 18-14. Well, she has been a strong net presence today for Hall for sure.
Yeah, they're doing a great job defensively. And also, when Conard sends the ball over, they're passing it accurately to their setter. So their offense is already set up, ready to go. So Hall's been doing a nice job returning serve and playing balls that are played over to them.
Good dig by Amato to keep it alive for Hall. Powerful shot, but answered by the Chieftains. What happened there, John?
So we hit it was a double hit again on a set. But Moranchik, she's a back row player right now. They can't go in front of that 10-foot white line and jump up over and try to hit the ball. So she had 2 back row hits, and they came with some. They came over pretty quick.
(20-14). Hall up by a half dozen as Rothenberg continues to serve. Was that a double hit as well?
That was a lift that time. We got our palms up underneath it, facing up, and kind of pushed the ball instead of striking it. So, yeah, that was another ball that when we talk to our bigs at the front, we try to get them to penetrate their palms over the net to the opponent's side. So when the ball strikes their palms, it goes straight down back on their side. And that time we didn't quite just penetrate that plane over the net. So it hit our palm, came down on our side of the net. And that's something that we have to be a little bit more mindful of, I think.
Carrie Roller exercising another timeout. Her team down by the football score of 21-14 here in game 2. Hall won the opener, 25-21. One and only meeting of the season between these two squads. Again, most of the times in years past they've met twice, but just one of those scheduling quirks this time around. So here's Rothenberg maintaining the serve for Hall. Another one of the veteran players who Jim Holt said waited her turn. But she is certainly, as an established veteran on this team, made the most of her opportunity to be in the lineup. Now she puts it in play. Good placement that time by Eagle.
Yeah, great dig by Moranchik on the opposite side to get that ball back into play for Hall. But there again, Miele picked a nice spot just to deflect it, tip it off to the side. So good heads up by Felly.
So here's Catherine Ding on the serve for the Chieftains. And the swing goes out by the Hall Warriors. And it's 21-16. Strong flat serve, one of the better servers is Catherine Ding for the Conard team. And her team right now needs her to put 3 or 4 good ones together. Good authoritative play at the net that time.
Yeah, it started off by the serve, however, you know, that the ball came over quickly with some force, and then it took Hall out of their offense, so they had to play a free or soft ball over to Conard, and they got a chance to get a nice swing at it. Emily put it away.
21-17. Chieftains climb back to within 4. And that one goes out as well. 21-18. And we didn't expect Conard to go away.
No, it's, you know how it goes. You know, Catherine's doing a great job of serving. I didn't see who swung at that. But was just wide, a good swing at it. That one was set a little bit too far on our side, and Gabby Hasley did a nice job defensively of breaking that net plane and putting it back over. So we're right back in it.
It's a 5-0 run for the Chieftains, and what was a 7-point deficit, they've cut it to 2. And Jim Holt asked for a timeout. 21-19, Hall in front here in Game 2 of this best-of-5 series. Again, a reminder, the annual tailgate will be held at Town Hall on Saturday night, November 12th. It will take place from 6:30 to 10:30. Tickets can be ordered on the website of the War Chief Sports Council at www.war-chief.net. That's war-chief.net. The cost, $50 per person, $20 for Hall and Conard coaches. The party 1 week prior to the football showdown at Chalmers Stadium, again with Hall hosting Conard. Again, the annual tailgate, Saturday night, November 12th, 6:30 to 10:30 at Town Hall. Such a great event last year in particular. I know they raised over $10,000 for the War Chief Sports Council, and that allows not only broadcasts like this, John, but also they help out with uniforms and other programs for the kids. It's really a worthwhile endeavor.
That's wonderful. Gives kids an opportunity, like we said, talking about facilities, and then, there's uniforms. There's so much that goes into running sports programs now and there. There's obviously, and unfortunately, sometimes a big price tag put on all of those. So, any help that we can get in that regard is well appreciated. It's wonderful that we get that kind of response from the public.
Definitely is. And again, if you want to get involved, it's November the 12th. 22-19, Hall by 3. Big play at the net by Halsey was answered by the Hall Warriors. Nice shot that time. I believe that was Yeagle, and it's 22-20.
Felly's she's a new player, and it's fun to see her because she's just scratching the surface of how she can be. If she can just develop an approach and a swing like Moranchik, and she will, she's such a big, powerful kid. She's like half swinging with just her upper body and just crushing the ball. She's got I call it a heavy ball. It looks like she's just tapping it, but the ball has force behind it. It's going to be scary when she really figures it out.
Yeah, well, Carrie Roller was talking about the 2 matches that she had back-to-back against Rockville and Windsor. She had 14 and 13 kills respectively in those 2 matches. And just a sophomore, like you said.
Just a sophomore, and she's really starting to, see herself as a volleyball player, spend more time developing herself. And, with the young players we have and, some of the sophomores and juniors that we have, she's going to be a great compliment to Conard going forward.
So here's Manchester getting set to serve. Critical juncture of this game and the match. Hall up 23-21. And they're going to say that the serve landed on the line, and the Conard players can't believe it.
Yeah, it's too far for me to tell, but it was a close play for sure. We're on the other side of the net here, the court rather. That's tough. We tell our players if you're not sure, play, but everyone looked pretty sure what was going out.
Like you said about baseball, where's the instant reflex?
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's not happening here, sadly, but we just got to keep playing.
And the point goes out. It goes to Hall, and they have won a second consecutive game by the score of 25-21, and they take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 series. But again, we need to remind everybody, John, of what happened not only once, but twice last year, where 2-0 deficits were answered by both teams in both the matches last year, and the teams trailing 2-0 ended up winning eventually 3-2.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking the same thing. So I'm already penciling in. I'm trying to project how long the 5 sets is going to be right at this point. Well, yeah, nothing would surprise me. Conard had a nice little run there towards the end, but fell a little short. Hall's been playing tough. They've been playing pretty consistently. Conard just needs to find a little bit more consistency in their serving, passing, hitting. So we're getting better.
Again, we want to remind you that this is just game 1 of our 5-game sports package for you for the fall here on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. We'll join you again next Tuesday, November 1st. Doubleheader soccer action. First, the Conard girls hosting the boys at 4 o'clock, followed by the boys at 6. And then again on Wednesday, November 2nd, we'll have field hockey, Conard at Hall. Chalmers Stadium will be the site for that one. 6 o'clock opening face-off for that. And the culmination of our fall schedule will be on Saturday before Thanksgiving, as Hall will play host to Conard, again over at Chalmers Stadium. I had the great privilege of calling my first Hall Conard football game on radio, John, in 2004. So this will be my 13th consecutive football game. I'm getting old.
No. I'm just going to look at a young guy like you. You know what? Those events are great. We've had such a deep and rich history of really outstanding coaches over at Hall and on this side of town. Mrs. Chalmers lives right on my street. I went to school with Bobby at Central years ago when we both had a little bit more hair. So there's a lot of ties, and it's just wonderful to see what kind of history we have here in town.
You know what's great too? You have the rivalry. The games are intense. Everybody wants to win. But unlike in other towns, you're all best friends before and after the game. You leave it all out on the field, the court, the ice, wherever you may be, and then you become best of friends again afterwards. And that's what really separates West Hartford from a lot of towns in the state.
Yeah, I agree. I see. Even with some of the guys, they're kind of blustery, and we have a little bit more machismo than maybe is necessary at times. But I mean, they compete hard with each other, and like you say, I'm always pleasantly surprised to see those guys go up and give each other a tap on the butt or a high five or a hug, even in every sport. And you're right. Things are in really good perspective here, I think. And it's an old and really great rivalry, and I think a lot of credit has to go to the coaches in keeping things in the right perspective.
So here we go, game 3. Conard serving, trailing 2-0 as Kate DiGiacomo gets set to put it in play for the Chieftains. And the shot went out, and the first point of game 3 goes to Conard. Point to Conard, and Hegel, another big play at the net.
Yeah, one of those little love taps she sends over that you kind of hate. It's a heavy ball, and she, without that full swing, I think she affords herself a little bit more time to find the spot to put it, which isn't a bad idea.
And like you said earlier, I mean, if they're expecting fastball and all of a sudden you throw in a changeup or a knuckleball, really keeps the other team off guard.
Exactly, and she's developing that Moranchik type of swing and velocity, and she has it once in a while. She hasn't been really consistent with it yet, but like I said, she can, even with a half swing, she can put a hurting on you.
3 unanswered to start game 3 for the Chieftains. And the shot goes into the net by Moranchik. And it's 4-0 Conard, as the freshman continues to serve very well. And another point to Conard.
A net violation by Hall, scrapping the block, then try to dig that tip over. Just unfortunately brushed against the net.
And the first point of the third game for Hall. And that makes it 5-1. Manchester back in the game, replacing Grace Amato in the Hall lineup. That's what we'd call in basketball an offense-defense substitution.
Oh yeah, happens all the time in this game. Volleyball is very much a specific skill type of sport. We have outside hitters, middle players, our blockers, and if they can hit, great. Then your back rows, our passers. Obviously, you have your setter in the front. So yeah, when people rotate around, they try to get when they're out of their position, front or back. Coaches put the appropriate sub in.
So, after falling behind game 3, 5-0, 3 straight for the Warriors. And it's 5-3 as they continue to serve. And it's 5-4. What a game of runs this is.
Yeah, that was that knuckleball I was just telling you about. That one went over and just fell off the table. We could barely get to touch it, so great serve.
Hall trying for the tie. And we're tied at 5. As Conard didn't have an answer for that one either.
No. I mean, I'd have to bite my tongue a little bit and say, hey, go and just pass that ball. But if it was hit at me, I don't know if I could touch it either. I mean, it's 2 in a row. It's pretty good. She's been floating it well.
Easier said than done, I guess, from a defensive perspective when you're serving like that. That's out, wide left. And a big point for Conard. Stem the tide a little bit and give the ball back to Catherine Ding, who continues to serve now for Conard. She had good serving in the second game of this match. Good diving play by McConnell to keep it alive for Conard, or for Hall rather. They tried a finesse move to Shannon Manchester, but she hit it too softly and into the net.
Yeah, I think she saw Felly out of the corner of her eye that time, and she tried to finesse it, but maybe took her attention off, how to execute the play. So there's a little bit of a Felly factor up front.
That Felly factor is a lot like basketball, isn't it, when you have a defensive presence in the low post?
Absolutely. You got guys that can, get up and, make you change your shot or even think about it. Weighs heavily on a player's mind. So, that she does that for us a great deal.
As former UConn guard Earl Kelly said to me 3 decades ago, I shoot everything from 20 feet against Georgetown because who wants to go to Patrick Ewing? Same principle.
Yeah, you want no part of being close to the basket with those guys, Graham and all those guys that played back in the day. You're better off just shooting it and just getting back on defense.
As mean and as intimidating they were, though, John Thompson was as nice a guy as I ever had the pleasure of dealing with in all the media. So he was awesome. 8-6 the score. Conard in front. Erica Rothenberg serving for Hall. Another strong hit by the Chieftains.
There's the Felly factor. I like that. I'm going to use that next year, I think. She, you know what? And for her this year, we've seen her grow in confidence because she is a new player. And we just keep telling her, like, listen, you just need to go out and be an athlete. And, you're going to give people fits. And she's more and more starting to have belief in that and playing a little bit with a little bit more confidence. It's great to see.
So my next question is, when you join me for the girls' basketball broadcast, will there be a Felly factor there? Will she play basketball?
I'm not. I can't think off the top of my head whether she did or didn't play basketball last year, to be honest. She's an athletic kid. I'd have her just hang around the paint and just jump up and grab a couple rebounds for me if I were. You know what I mean? So, I hope she does. In terms of her overall athletic ability, moving your feet and defending and running, and it'll be great for her to improve her volleyball game, I think.
Maybe too early to tell, John, but does she have a chance, in your opinion, a couple years down the road to maybe play at the college level?
I really, with a person that's got, a physique and the athleticism that she has, she's long, and she's learning every day. It's just a matter of her really deciding, whether she wants to do it or not, and then put some time into it and work, obviously. So, yeah, I think she could. But, it's up to her, obviously, and I'm excited about the prospect of it, frankly.
McConnell had the serve for Hall, and the point goes to Conard. And in this seesaw battle of game number 3. Conard in front 10-9. Of course, they need the victory to stay alive. They trail Hall 2 games to none in the best of 5, with the Warriors winning by scores of 25-21 and 25-21 again. And what's the call there, John?
There was a joust at the net with Kate DiGiacomo, and I missed who else the Hall person was. And now it looks like there's some discussion, so I'm not quite sure. It looked like it may have gone out on us, but I'm not quite sure what's happening right now.
And they're talking things over. Yeah.
So there's a rule: if you're playing the back row, you can't come to the net and jump up and put your hand over the net. So I think they're deciding whether whoever touched the ball for them was their hand over the net or not. So yeah, they're deciding it was an illegal touch by a Hall back row player, and that can't be done. You can jump up from behind that white line, which is called the 10-foot line or the attack line, and get your hand over it there and spike or hit the ball. But if you're a back row player, you can't jump up over the net in front of that line.
So they took the point off the board for Hall, gave it to Conard, and instead of a 10-10 tie, It's 11-9 Conard, and now 11-10 as Hall able to garner that last point. The decision makers today, Dave Kerouac and Suzanne Elbert, are the officials for this match and the JV one that went to Pryor. Won by the Conard Chieftains in the JV, 2 straight. They played best 2 out of 3 at that level. Hall.
I think there might have been an inadvertent whistle. They're going to replay the point. I'm not quite sure what she said, but the referee tapped her chest like she made an error, so they're going to replay it.
So it's 11-9 Conard. Long attempt by Amato was short. Is there any special term for that when a player hits the ball like that and goes back over their head?
It's just a pass, or a dig, depending how low it is. Yeah, there's a lot of names, but a closed fist was a legal hit, and she just dug it out, made a great pass.
Hall able to answer. And the Warriors get the serve back down a deuce, 12-10. Shannon Manchester, the senior. Great job by Hall to keep it alive. And they get the point. Abramson thought she had that one put away.
Yeah, she did. She put pressure on Hall, but they scrapped, reached and dug balls out, tipped them up, and a great effort just to tap it over. Great hustle plays by the Warriors.
Manchester's serve trying to tie the game for Hall. Diving attempt by McConnell to no avail. And Conard back up 13-11. Now Gabby Halsey with the serve. It was a good dig by Amato initially. And what's the call here, John?
It looks like Hall's going to receive it. They're calling Nicole Abrahamson for breaking the plane over the net and not allowing Hall to play it over.
Noah Malone with the serve for Hall. And a big point for Conard. And Carrie Roller off the bench applauding her team, 14-12.
DiGiacomo with a nice little semi-hit by her and to keep the Chieftains up a couple.
Touch shot by Catherine Ding and a good one.
Yep, just found the little soft spot right over the blockers' hands and dropped in for a point for the Chieftains.
And they take a 3-point lead, 15-12. As Abrahamson continues to serve for the home team. One of the longest points of the match. Finally put away by Moranchik. Boy, that went back and forth about 12 times.
Yeah, it really did. It looks like she's catching her breath there, Moranchik, for a little bit. You can't give her that many opportunities. She's just too good. And finally, she put one away.
Yeah, how many times in baseball do you see a guy make a great play defensively for a third out and then he leads off? She made a great play defensively and she gets the serve.
You just get the flow. I don't know what you want to call it, and you're just focused and you're comfortable with your body and what you're doing. And it's a shame they just missed out on. They broke their serve it's good for Conard, obviously, but she could have been serving for, a bit right here. It's a nice side out for the Chieftains.
And they have a 2-point lead, 16-14. As DiGiacomo puts it in play. And hit into the net, unfortunately, by Conard. I'm surprised one of the previous points kind of answered one of the questions I had for you. When the ball hits off the roof, it's still in play, off the ceiling.
As long as it comes back on your side. If you touch it, hits the ceiling, goes over, it's automatically out. You have to deal with any nonsense that might do up in the ceiling if it comes back on your side, if you have another touch.
17-15. Conard serving with the 2-point lead. Here's the junior, Catherine Ding. Off the net. Dave Kerouac and Suzanne Elbert look at one another. And what's this deliberation about, John?
It was a joust at the net, and the official couldn't determine whose hand it came off last. It touched the antenna. Those striped antennas are out of bounds, so if a ball does hit that, it's out on whoever touched it last, and she couldn't determine who touched it last.
Do you do a do-over in this case?
She's calling for a replay. It looked like Coach Roller is very much adamant. From my perspective, it may have gone off a Hall kid last, but she's right on top of the play there. I mean, it's really tough for her to make that call. It's just right in her face, and it's a bang play. So you and I we're right down the line of the net and have some space to really kind of look at it. So I think she's doing the right thing. She wasn't sure, so she's going to replay the point.
And Carey immediately asked for a timeout and granted to the Chieftains. Again, it's 2 games to none Hall. They had 4-point victories in each of the first 2. Conard trying to stay alive, and they're up 17-15 as they head into this timeout in Game 3 out of the best-of-5 series. Good atmosphere in here. Always usually is for a Conard Hall matchup in any sport, but particularly tonight.
It really is. It's been a good match to watch. The fans have been great. The lower level teams doing a great job, being spirited and cheering for their teams. It's been a lot of fun.
Again, it's Catherine Ding. Good block at the net by Manchester. Motto saves it. And a point for Hall, backed within 1, 17-16. And Carey on the court with some instructions for her players.
Yeah, I didn't quite see who she was directing, but we need a little bit more aggressive offense at this point, so we can climb back into this game. And there goes one of them right there. Nice job by Gabby Hasley putting that ball away. Nice angle on her hit.
And that kept Hall from tying up this game. Conard back up by 2, 18-16. As Felly serves. Great serve that time. The libero, Grace Amato, couldn't handle it. And it's 19-16.
Yeah, Amato's wearing that shirt for a reason. She's obviously one of the best passers on that team. And I think that might be one of the first ones she misplayed all night. So tough break for her. She's a really solid player.
Timeout Hall. Again, the Warriors trying to break a 3-game slide. Got off to a good start early in the season. Actually had a 10-5 record. But lost a tough 5-setter at Plainville. And then swept 3-love at Glastonbury and East Catholic. And the record falling to 10-8 on the campaign. Different story for Conard. started off with 3 losses, 7-2 since that time. Although they've traded losses and wins over their last 5, winning at Buckley, losing to Simsbury, beating Rocky Hill, falling to Northwest, and then a resounding 3-0 win over Weaver. 19-16. And again, a tough serve, unable to be handled by Amato, and it's 20-16.
Yeah, that was that knuckleball, that floater, and it just fell short of her hands. And that's a really tough ball to play back for anybody. There's another one that floats. Good job by Amato that time.
(21-16). Oh, I think they got the wrong score. They gave Conard the point. Yeah, it's 20-17. They corrected it on the scoreboard. There's Jackie McConnell to put it in play for the Warriors. And finally into the net, Point Hall, and it's 20-18. Good athleticism, John, on both sides here.
Yeah, the game, I think all women's sports, the girls are so well coached now when they're younger, and they train so much more than they have, and they're just better, skilled, athletic kids. It's so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch. Every sport. I mean, it's great. I love to see the girls play at this level.
20-19. McConnell serving for a tie, but it goes into the net. And a big point for the Chieftains as they take a 2-point lead. And Emily Kalina, senior captain, serving for Conard. Couple of plays off the net on this point. And that goes out, and it's 21-20. Was that a tough ball to handle, or sometimes maybe the kids get a little impatient and they try to hit it harder than they should?
Yeah, they do, and quite frequently the result is either it floats out of bounds like it just did, or they snap down on it too much with a follow through and it gets into the net. So, I mean, they have to learn they don't have to crush it every single time. You just have to have, a good swing and a good angle to strike the ball at. It's tough to do when you're trying to squeeze a couple points out, though.
Shannon Manchester. And it goes into the net. And Hall has the lead, 22-21. Jim Holt, very complimentary of Manchester. Said there's only one knock on her, is that the fact that she's too self-conscious at times. Point to Hall, 23-21.
Yeah, that pass drifted a little bit too far to the sideline for Gabby Hasley to handle, and once you try to tip it back in bounds, it just caught the antenna on that far side, so that point goes directly to Hall. So coach calls a timeout. Try to ice the server, if you will, and it works more often than not. Real happy if it works this time, but yeah, it's just like icing a free throw shooter or a field goal kicker. It's the same concept. Now Chieftains get to talk about what's next, and we'll see what happens on the Hall service. Hopefully she can keep it together and do something for Hall.
What would point 2 of the strategy for the timeout there? What do you think she might be telling the kids in the huddle?
Well, you know what? They gotta first off, they gotta make a pass, a good solid pass to the center, and then, be aggressive, put the ball someplace, down if you can put it down, if you have to tip it. Just, don't try to hit a home run. Play hard, don't hit a home run.
Shannon Manchester continuing on the serve for Hall. (23-21) Warriors. And a big point for the Chieftains. Stems the tide, pulls them within one. Offense, defense substitution for Hall. Manchester out. Grace Amato into the contest. Here's Halsey with the serve. Great save by the Chieftains. Wow. Wow, the finesse move was met at the net with resistance, and the game tied at 23.
Yeah, it was a good decision by Hall to try to tip that ball, but we had a two-person block just waiting for it, and they just swallowed it up. Great job at the net by the Chieftains there.
Tied at 23. Halsey serve. And that's out. And Conard, 1 point away from extending this to a fourth game. And speaking of icing the free throw shooter, the field goal kicker, and the server, timeout Jim Holt and the Hall Warriors.
Well, yeah, it's a good time to take a timeout, obviously. It's a good chance for these guys to regroup a little bit. They've been playing so well, and both coaches, just telling them, stay calm. It's an exciting game. Play within yourself. Just do what you can do on both sides of the net. So, if you start pressing and trying to do a little bit more than you need, that's when sometimes errors occur. So, I'm sure they're just trying to focus their guys right now real quick, and then we'll see what happens. It looks like it might be one of those nights again.
The War Chief Sports Council would like to thank our game-changing sponsors at the all-state level: Keating Insurance, Macca Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC, Counselors at Law, and ESPN, as well as at the captain's level: Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, Coastal Tool and Rob Ludkin, and the Conard and Hall PTO. Thanks to one and all for your continued support of the War Chief Sports Council, the official booster clubs of Hall and Conard Athletics. And the Conard Chieftains have won Game 3 dramatically as they keep this match alive. The final 25-23. And John Beignet, we head to a Game 4.
Yeah, again, a tough serve. That was an example of one of those floaters, not diving, but actually rising a little bit and surprising. I don't know if it was Morenchik or not that played that ball, and it just moves at you. If you've ever seen a knuckleball, volleyball moves so much more than that, and it's just crazy. You think you're going to hit it, and then all of a sudden it's not there anymore, or at a different angle, and that's just what happened. So a good time for that for the Chieftains, and tough one for the Hall team. But I guess we're going to be here for a little longer now. Yeah, it's great, awesome stuff.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. If you would be so kind as to explain the playoff ramifications, this being the final regular season tilt here tonight.
Yeah, as I said earlier, Hall, Conard, Windsor, Buckley, and Weaver have an opportunity to play in the CCC tournament, depending on who beats whom in these matches that are going on right now around the area. So we won't know till tomorrow or at the end of the evening who will be in, but in this game, obviously, as in all the others, if you win tonight, Hall wins, they have an edge. Conard wins, they have an edge. So it's a big game in that regard. So as well as a tune-up for the state. This is the kind of atmosphere you have when you're playing the state tournament games. The stakes are higher. You're like in a rivalry game, and the focus. You get the challenge. Your medal. When you're serving and making plays and stuff. So I'm sure the coaches are relaying that to those kids as the game's going on, and when it ends even. Listen, we played a great game. It was a difficult game. We did this really well. We need to maybe do this a little better next time, and they're going to use it as a growth experience. I'm sure both teams.
Great comments as always by John Beignet, the freshman volleyball coach at Conard, longtime Conard boys basketball coach, longtime educator in town. Glad that he's joined us for the broadcast. We'll welcome him back for high school basketball as well. I'm sure we'll cover that upcoming in the winter But right now we're going to focus on our schedule for the fall. And after tonight, we have 3 more broadcasts for you next week. A doubleheader on Tuesday, November 1st. Soccer, Hall at Conard at 4 with the girls. Hall at Conard boys at 6. And then on Wednesday, November 2nd, the following day, we'll be at Chalmers Stadium at Hall for the field hockey match between the Warriors and the Conard Chieftains. All coming your way on WHC-TV Channel 5, the official home of West Hartford High School sports. That's so used to saying Beethoven Radio for so many years as the official home. We did 327 broadcasts over an 11-year time frame. As I call this the best and most fun part-time gig I've ever had. It's really, really tons of fun. And we thank Paul and Dennis and everybody involved with making it happen, and all the fine sponsors, of course. So here we go. Game number 4. Hall won the first 2. Conard staying alive, staving off elimination, winning game 3. And it'll be Hall in the person of Erica Rothenberg to serve first as the team switching sides for game number 4. Good effort to no avail by Hall. Good shot at the net with purpose by Catherine Ding to set up the point for Conard that time, John.
Catherine's been a very consistent player for us, a very big part of the success of the Chieftains this year. She does. She's just a real solid player. She does everything really, really well. You know, she's a wonderful, wonderful teammate, and you know, we're lucky she moved into town actually. So she's been great.
1-1. And the point goes to the Warriors as they take an early advantage of 2-1. Here's Jackie McConnell. Play at the net by Kalina. Good effort by Amato that time, but she was a little off balance when she tried to execute that shot, and the point goes to Conard.
Yeah, as I said, she's a real great passer. But anyone that gets, you know, off balance or is on the move, it makes that pass that much more difficult. She just had a tough pass to make there.
Back and forth they go. Hall answers with a point of their own, and here's Shannon Manchester getting set to serve, with the visitors in front by the count of 3-2. Is that the Felly factor again?
That's the Felly factor again. Again, she kind of puts it, you know, her hits, because she doesn't have a full arm swing to snap down on it. It's more like a line drive. It's not a severe down angle, and that angle going outward kind of puts it in between people. It's kind of a guessing game sometimes for them who should play it. So it's pretty effective.
They keep it alive initially off the ceiling, but to no avail. So my next question is, does somebody like Felly or Shannon Manchester on the other side, do they have an angle advantage as a server or not?
Well, the taller you are, I think, obviously it gets you a little bit higher to the level of the net. So yeah, I think it does. I mean, obviously when you're hitting, you want to get your hands above the net, so you're hitting downward. But yeah, I mean, as a server, however, if you can put, you know, topspin on it like the one we just saw, that one, it's going to go just over the net, and, you know, like a curveball, it just dives down. And they're very difficult. So you can be a munchkin or a monster in terms of your height, and if you can put some topspin on the ball, it's going to be equally as effective.
I like tennis again.
Very much like tennis, absolutely.
Into the net it goes. Point for Hall. And the Warriors up 6-4. As Noah Malone It's set to serve. She, the young lady we talked about earlier with that 23 serve streak at one point earlier this year. Good diving effort by the Chieftains. And a powerful shot at the net results in the Conard point.
Yeah, great job by Sasha, number 15, to come out and dig that ball up to give the Chieftains a chance to, put it away with a nice hit.
6-5. Ball leads the game. They lead the best of 5, 2-1. Great placement that time by the Chieftains, and they've tied it at 6.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a little something going. Their passing's been a little bit better. We're starting to make some quality strikes on the ball. Now we can get our serve going a little bit. We get a little run, a little bunch of points. That'd be nice.
Speaking of that bunch of points, that's 3 in a row for Conard. And they take the early lead at 7-6. Trying to force a decisive Game 5 in this match. Great hit that time by Nina Moranchik. Boy, is she powerful.
That's called hitting through the block. I saw a hand just go flying. She crushed that one. That was the hardest one I think she's hit all night.
And she's tied the game at 7. And then the serve gives Hall the lead at 8-7.
That topspin serve, it's kind of starting on like a little line drive diving, but with that topspin, it tends to dip even more right in front of that back row. Tough to get.
Moranchik's second consecutive serve. And she's gotten 2 in a row. And Hall back in front by a deuce. It's now 9-7. The kills and hitting percentage record holder in the history of Hall High School. Point to Conard, and that makes it 9-8. Gabby Halsey. And that went out to give Hall a 2-point lead.
Yeah, Nicole, should have tried at least to keep that ball right out in front of her a little bit. It was over her head when she struck it, kind of floated out a little bit.
Miss hit on the serve. Gives the point to Conard and the serve back. And it's 10-9. Nicole Abrahamson getting set to serve for the Chieftains. First time we've seen that tonight. Back-to-back mixed hit serves to give the team the other team the advantage.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What's happening right now. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just a little lack of focus.
Rothenberg with the serve for Hall. Miss hit at the net by Ding gives Hall the point. And they've opened up a 3-point edge at 12-9. Good diving save by Halsey to keep it alive for Conard. Manchester wanted an infraction called against Conard, none forthcoming. They get the point.
Yeah, it was a Felly infraction. Unfortunately, at the net, Felly was Felly got a piece of it, I'm sure.
12-10. There she is again.
Yeah, that one was a better swing. She kind of had a nice little follow through that time. And that's what the coaching staff is looking much more forward to, that full arm swing she's starting to develop.
I'll look forward to it for 2 more years.
Oh my gosh. Coach Rowe is she's a better coach already, I can just tell.
Boy, the diving effort by DiGiacomo. And Manchester answered by Eagle. And we're tied at 12.
There she is again. A player like her just needs to, just work around the net. Just follow, watch what the other team's doing, and just anticipate where the ball's going to get tipped or struck. And then she's right there. And she's more than athletic enough to get it and put it right back at you.
There she is. And do you really anticipate, John, going forward when she's a junior and a senior, that she can really start to take over games like she is right now for a short stretch?
Well, there's no question. We talked about basketball, how a big person can really make a difference and disrupting what the other team is doing. And she, really doesn't have to block every shot either. They know she's lurking around the net. They're going to start thinking about stuff and, doing things a little bit differently and just enough maybe to make them miss-hit a ball or make the wrong decision. So absolutely, I think she's going to be kind of an anchor defensively for us right in the front of the net there.
Yeah, you could definitely see where she'd get in the psyche of the opposition for sure. What a roll for the Chieftains, up 3 now. 10 points away from forcing a decisive game 5. And Jim Holt calls for a timeout.
Careful. I'm a Conard guy here. Don't be jinxing anything with those numbers. We're going to go one at a time and slowly get up to that number that you just mentioned.
Good coach speak, Coach. The War Chief Sports Council, as always, would like to thank our participating sponsors at the all-conference level. It's Allied Printing. Remember them from the days when they used to do the printing for the Hartford Whalers program. I know I'm dating myself. It's an ancient history, but certainly they've been around and a good sponsor. At the varsity level, the Low Tide Photography, Dave Newman Photography, Blue Plate, Fast Eddie, West Hartford Youth Basketball, West Hartford Boys Travel Basketball, the Open Arm Christian Ministries, thanks to all of those fine sponsors, as well as Final Cut Barbershop, Edward Connors Insurance, Stanley and Elaine Phillips, Beth Barry Brown of the William Ravis Agency, and West Hartford Girls Lacrosse. If you'd like to sponsor as well, go to the website at war-chief.net. And the serve goes into the net. There goes what you were talking about. Ice the server, change the momentum, swing the tie, and that's what happens.
It's very effective sometimes for kids to regroup themselves, right after a timeout. So it was effective for Hull.
15-13. Conard leads by 2. Amato again keeping it alive for Hall. Another marathon point, and it goes to the Chieftains. Does it ever favor one team or other in terms of who might have an advantage if the point goes that long?
It depends. If you have like quality hitters like Hall, if you can pass the ball accurately and get the more aggressive downward type hits, it's gonna, that the advantage goes to that team. But both teams are kind of mishandling passes a little bit, so that their hitters really can't get those swings at the net all the time. So it becomes kind of like a passing rally kind of game where it's kind of neutral until that one good pass comes and someone can really put it away at the net. So I don't know that it has an advantage. Maybe the better passing team if it goes a long time.
17-13. Catherine Ding and the Conard Chieftains serving and in front. Great authoritative shot at the net again. And Conard has their biggest lead at 5.
Yes, they do. So we're in a nice spot right here. Obviously, Catherine is a good server, so a lot of times you don't want kids to really try to muscle a serve. You need to get it in play. We have some momentum. Let's see if we can ride it a bit. Just keep it. Just get it in play. Let the other team like that, overthink it maybe, make a mistake, and help you out a little bit.
I'll draw the analogy again to tennis. Just put it in play and get it over the net one more time than your opposition.
Right, you're in the game, you're in the point, so let's see what happens.
Oh, Amato with the save. And another point for the Conard Chieftains.
That's not exactly how you want the point to be won, on an impossible angle just over the net, but we'll take it at this point.
Catherine continues to serve. What an attempt by Abrahamson, but to no avail. Wow.
The pancake, putting your hand on the ground and letting the ball bounce off is actually called a pancake. And then, we almost dug that out of there and made a great play. Good effort.
20-14. The Warriors definitely need Shannon Manchester to put a streak of good serves together. And they can't save it. And the point goes to Conard. And it's 21-14. And Felly Eagle, the sophomore, getting set to serve. (21-15). As Hall is trying to rally. Again, if you joined us late, the Warriors won the first 2 games 25-21. Conard came from behind late in game 3 to force game 4. And at the midway point of game 4, Conard taking control, and they've led throughout the rest of this game 4. 2 straight though for the Warriors. And they're not going to quit, John. It's 21-16.
No, why would they quit, given what's going on here in the past and what's been happening tonight? You're in it, you get a couple points in a row, and all of a sudden the momentum's going your way.
Noah Malone serve. Halsey gets it back over. And another big point with a good shot at the net. 21-17. Oh, good block. Sensational defensive play. 4 straight for the Warriors. And what was a 7-point deficit has been cut to 3. And here comes Hall. And Kerry Roller has seen enough after 5 straight Hall points. Conard calls for time. 21-19. Chieftains' lead has been reduced to 2. Another good timeout to try to quell the run here.
Yeah, Moranchuk really sparked that run by Hall. They had 2 great down the line hits, and Hall scrapped around. And there was a little confusion on that last play, but that's how it goes. A couple good plays by you. Maybe a missed play by the other team, and all of a sudden it's 3 or 4 points. That's the great part of this game, you can turn it around.
War Chief Sports Council would like to remind everybody that the annual tailgate will be held at Town Hall on Saturday night, November 12th from 6:30 to 10:30. Tickets can be ordered on the website at www.war-chief.net. That's war-chief.net. Cost is $50 per person, $20 for Hall and Conard coaches. Party, of course, 1 week prior to that football showdown at Chalmers Stadium. It's always a good time. I believe it's the 3rd annual tailgate. Double hit, I believe that was. And it's going to be 21-20.
21-20. Here come the Warriors. Chieftains are hoping for a side out here.
Noah Malone continues to serve. 21-21. See, here's one way I'd like to implement a rule change. I think that should be a let, like in tennis, because I think that really is disadvantageous to the defensive team.
It really is, but like in tennis, I mean, the game was extended for such a long time. With that rule, they decided to take it out, and you just have to play the net. It's a tough ball for anyone that comes off the net like that. It's almost impossible to get.
Hall has taken the lead, and Conard ties it off the missed serve. That ends an 8-0 run for Hall, and we're tied at 22. Great net play again by the Chieftains. And they take the lead, 23-22. What a terrific game.
Terrific game. The more aggressive team here is going to be the victor, so both teams are going to have to want to get after it a little bit.
Nina Moranchik again. Got Moranchik on one side, you got Eagle on the other, and they're really flexing their muscles.
Yeah, when in doubt, call number 32, and you'll be okay for the most part.
And here is Nina Moranchik getting set to serve. Tied at 23. And it catches the line. Hall can't believe it. Moranchik wants an explanation from Suzanne Elbert, the official. And what it all means, John Beignet, is Conard has a chance to serve to extend this to a game 5.
And there's a timeout. Who would have guessed? To go into the 4th set with Conard with the potential to win this and push it to the 5th. Great stuff. Really great stuff.
And we hope that we have the same drama next week when we bring you the soccer matches on Tuesday at 4 o'clock over at Robert J. McKee Stadium, as the Conard girls entertain the Hall girls in soccer. Then the boys go at it at 6. Field hockey the following day at 6. That one over at Chalmers Stadium on the campus of William H. Hall High School. All action on WHC-TV Channel 5 and streaming live at www.whc-tv.org. 24-23. Conard leads game number 4. They're 1 point away from forcing the decisive game 5. And there it is. Abrahamson puts it in. And we're tied at 2 games apiece.
Just great stuff. I had a feeling it was going to be tight. Honestly, well, like we discussed earlier, it was this will be the 3rd in the series, I guess. So yeah, here we are. So it's a short last game, and whichever group can get maybe a hot start, a little bit of a lead, has a good chance in this 15-point set to decide it. It's going to be every point, the energy level, and it's just going to get higher and higher. It's just great.
It really is. And I'm just hearkening back, John, to last year when we did the volleyball broadcast. And again, we were at Hall. Hall won the first two. Conard came back, forced the decisive Game 5, and really took over in that Game 5. If I recall correctly, I think the final was like 15-4 in that game because they really took control early, to your point, and really never let off the gas.
As I recall, Catherine had a great middle or beginning of that last set and kind of carried the Chieftains early, and then everyone kind of got some confidence and some more energy, and Hall just couldn't respond at that point. So yeah, that was a great finish for them back then. It was really you walk on a cloud, that emotion carries it. People don't get that sometimes, but it changes your next like 2 or 3 days. It's incredible. And then you share it with each other, and it's like you're like on the top of the world. So for either team, that has that, is fortunate enough to have that feeling, the next couple of days before their CCC event or whatever happens next for them, it's well deserved by both groups, I think.
For Chief Sports Council, as always, I'd like to thank our game-changing sponsors. At the all-state level, Heating Insurance, Macca Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC, Counselors at Law, and the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, better known as ESPN, since 1979. Hall won the first two sets, 25-21 and 25-21. Conard responding, winning the last two, and as John Benier told you, we play up to 15 in the decisive Game 5 of this best of 5. And this Conard team trying to win for the 8th time in their last 10. It was really a mini run that began with a victory over Wethersfield on September 26th. They won that one 3-0, and that started a 5-match winning streak. They also defeated Rockville and Windsor, and that's when Felly Eagle came alive with the 14 and 13 kills respectively in those. Then had Hartford Public and Buckley fall to them as well, and then they've traded wins and losses since then. So something clicked on the 26th of September, and ever since then, you guys have been in a different spot.
Yeah, I think with us and with the youngness of us and the changing the lineup and other people, trying to make contributions, it took a while for everyone to figure out who they were as a player and how they could contribute to our team. And I think that's happening more and more. People are getting more confident. So it's great. Like Felly, you said against Windsor, she was just astounding. She took the team on her back and kind of injected her energy into us, and from there, everyone starts believing in everybody else a little bit more, and it's just infectious. It's a good thing to see.
So here we go. Set number 5. And some last minute instructions from the officials, Dave Kerouac and Suzanne Elberts, working the varsity and junior varsity tilts here today at the Conard Gymnasium. Jim Holtz off the bench as we get set for the first point. And he elects to have Erica Rothenberg as his initial server. Point to Conard. Errant shot after a very, very long rally.
Yeah, good patience by both teams. Didn't overplay. All trying to get to one of their hitters. She took a nice swing at it, just floated a little wide for her.
So DiGiacomo, the freshman. Oh, great answer by Hall at the net.
Double hit.
Double hit.
Right down Conard. Looks like it's going over to Hall. Again, well played. Just a missed touch by Conard.
Jacqueline McConnell with the serve for Hall as we're tied at 1 in decisive set number 5. The Felly factor early on, 2-1 Conard.
That's going on a t-shirt. I hope you know that. So, yeah, again.
I hope you don't mind me stealing the copyright from it.
No. We can work a deal out, I think. I'll give you a good deal on that. But, I noticed about her, too, since she doesn't take a huge swing, sometimes she just, quick pop at it, like catches teams off guard.
And the point to Conard. And they lead it by the count of 3-1.
It begins. This is where it starts to mean a little bit for whoever's ahead. Let's see how they handle it.
And I was just about to say that Catherine Ding has been such an effective server. And even the really good ones have an errant one every once in a while. 3-2. Shannon Manchester's been a good server in this one. Great net play on both sides. And Eagle has the final word.
A nice defense by Hall, but Conard stayed patient and passed the ball well right back to her, and she put it away.
4-2 Conard. And Eagle with a serve into the net to make it 4-3.
Those kinds of plays make guys like me lose our hair, and other coaches like Coach Roller have Tums or Pepto-Bismol in the evening.
And we're tied at 4. And it's fitting that Hall would have an answer. So what you're saying is with you with basketball and volleyball and me with the Whalers, Reds, Dolphins, and Knicks. That's why we're candidates for Hair Club for Men.
Yeah, we're keeping them in business, that's for sure.
And a point for the Warriors. And they have their first set 5 lead. It's 5-4. Noah Malone looks to keep it going. Sliding play by Ding, but to no avail. And it's 6-4. Power shot by Moranchik. Money time for the money players, and Carrie Roller off the bench calling a timeout with her team behind by the count of 7-4. Again, we'd like to continue our thanks as the War Chief Sports Council always wants to thank their game-changing sponsors, including those at the captain's level. Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, Coastal Tool and Rob Lubkin, the Conard and Hall PTO, and at the all-conference level, Allied Printing. At the varsity level, Low Tide Photography, Dave Newman Photography, Blue Plate, Fast Eddie, West Hartford Youth Basketball, West Hartford Boys Travel Basketball, and the Open Arm Christian Ministries. Thanks to one and all for your participation and patronage of the War Chief Sports Council. Pete Lamoureux, along with John Beignet and our fine crew. Meredith and Diana doing their usual stellar job on the dials here at the Conard Gymnasium. And Jen back at the studio. And another violation, a double hit.
Touch on the set, yeah. I mean, that happens when you try to be a little bit too good with your set. Take your eye off it for a second, one hand pushes it more than the other, ball rotates, and it's a violation.
Conard serving, down 7-5. 2 in a row for the Chieftains. Good message in that timeout from Kerry Roller, stemming the tide a little bit. Point to Hall, 8-6.
Yeah, 8-6. Well played by both teams. It's just aggressive swing. It just went a little wide for Nicole that time.
So here's Nina Moranchik. Little intimidation factor by the Warriors at the net. Created the point for them. And a 3-point advantage at 9-6. Devastating serve. Good effort by Gabby Halsey that time, but to no avail. And it's 10-6 for the Warriors as Moranchik continues to serve. String a couple of good serves together, and 5-point edge.
Yeah, the passing, I think, really, though, is the Hall passers have been a lot more consistent receiving the ball and being more accurate. It's just the last couple of 3 points been struggling and getting quality passes to their setter, and then being able to get an aggressive hit towards the Hall side. So, Hall's doing a little bit better job right now, I think, of passing the ball. Conard's going to have to clean it up a little bit.
The set for McConnell. Great point by both sides. A double, and it goes to Conard. They needed that one.
Yeah, they really needed that one. It was a great rally by both teams. Just playing really solid volleyball right there.
McConnell's shot blocked at the net. Is that Nicole?
Yeah, I think it was Nicole. She got up there, did a nice job, hands, penetrated the plane a little bit. Right back at the Hall kids.
The 11-8 serve goes into the net, so Hall up 12-8. And they get the serve back. Again, first team to 15 will emerge victorious. Serve goes out, point to Conard, 12-9. And why not? I mean, that's the way this should be.
And a few more hairs fall out of the coach's head. That's how it goes. It's good for the fans, however.
Another serve into the net. Could part of that just be a fatigue factor setting in here, John?
No, I don't think it's so much fatigue as it is. I think just watching, a little concentration. It looked like the Conard kids were a little quick to get to their serve. You need to kind of, like a free throw player, take a little deep breath and you kind of settle yourself. I think just from knowing those kids, it looked like they went a little quick.
Amato couldn't save it. Big point for Conard. 13-10. And here's the freshman. And this is where Jim Holt exercises his timeout to perhaps freeze her. And talking to elaborate on your point about the serves, it's like one thing John McEnroe always said with the tennis serve. Always bounced it 5 times before he hit it. Every time.
Right. And free throws too. Some guys take 3 dribbles, and it's not so much that they need to take 3 dribbles, but it just settles themselves emotionally, physically a little bit. Take a deep breath, and then you get into your routine. It's just a string of physical movements, and you practice them over and over, and then you just gotta remember it, trust it, and execute it. So if you get caught up in the excitement of the game, sometimes you forget to take those dribbles or that time to get yourself in that, executing mode. So we'll see. And Kate's, she's a real solid server. I'm sure she's going to put this one in play.
Conard serving, down 13-10.
There's that off-speed stuff again. Good set, good serve, and there it is. We'll see. We got another little break here too. We could be going late into the evening.
Just a 9th grader is Kate DiGiacomo. Belly Eagle, answered by Hall, and into the net, and it's 13-12. Only fitting.
Yeah, well, you know what? She's been, I think, pretty consistent down the stretch here in terms of efficiency and hitting. So I would keep loading it up to her like they've been using Nina. So I'd go to Felly if I were setting.
13-13. So we play 5 sets, and it comes down to 2 points. Wow. Bad break with the off-speed stuff, and Hall 1 point away.
There it is again. Just kind of that awkward timing, that off-speed, and Kelly just couldn't get her. It just kind of skid off her hand a little bit over there. But, it's not over. We've seen some serves go into the net, so the Chieftains are hoping for that, or just, keep the ball in play and get a good swing at it. And Hall is looking to get the ball in play and, do the same. So we'll see who can execute better down the stretch here.
CCC tournament aspirations on the line. And again, as we've talked about before, both teams are going to the upcoming CIAC state tournament. Hall, though, would like to carry some momentum. They've lost 3 in a row coming in here tonight. Meanwhile, Conard, winners of 7 of their last 9. And they certainly are in fine form heading towards the tournament. Hall won the first 2, 25-21, 25-21. Conard responded, winning 23 and 23. And now here we go. Hall serving for the match, Jackie McConnell at 14-13. And there's Eagle, and we're tied.
That sounded like I knew I was talking about there for a second. It's a no-brainer when you have hitters like Hall has Nina and Felly. So if they can get to those power players, either one of these teams could win this.
Double hit.
Great dig by DiGiacomo there to even give the Chieftains a chance after that superb tip by Hall. Really good stuff.
15-14. Shannon Manchester. Match point. Conard stays alive. What's the call here?
I don't know.
An infraction on Conard, and Hall has won it.
They called the net infraction on Conard. It might have been a follow-through on Felly's hit, which is a shame because, there's no way the Hall kids could return that ball. Unfortunate way to end for the Chieftains. A great match once again.
Really was. And Hall ends up on top 16-14 after the Warriors won the first two, dropped the next two, and then they pull out the decisive fifth set, 16-14. John, always a pleasure. Sorry from your perspective, not the best of results, but thank you again for a fine job.
Yeah, it was my pleasure too. I really enjoyed doing this, Pete. Thanks for having me back. Of course, I'm a Conard guy, and we had our chances. We just didn't work out this time, and we'll be back. We're not leaving West Hartford anytime soon, so we'll see these guys again. Thanks again.
Thank you, and we'll see you for basketball.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
John Beignet joining us on the broadcast. We're going to talk to Victoria's coach, Jim Holt, and hopefully one of the players as well. First, we're going to take a timeout, and then we'll come back with more right after this on WHC TV, Channel 5. So Jim Hall, what is it about Conard and Hall volleyball that when you get together, it's always a 5-setter and the most dramatic matches you could possibly have?
It started out last year. We went 5 both times that we played, and again, it's just the competitiveness between the two schools, and I expect to go 5 again today.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you last year because the 2-0 lead got away, and this time around, boy, we're looking like deja vu all over again. But you rallied the troops and you responded with the victory.
Yeah, it was tough. It was like, having flashbacks of last year when we were up 2-0 and losing 5. So we met, we talked, and I told them, listen, we really have to calm down and start having fun again.
And they looked like they had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, they did. You know, that it changes the game when you're having fun instead of looking down at the floor. You want to stay positive and just go out and have fun.
John Beignet on our broadcast said Hall deserved to win because they were the more consistent passing team. Do you agree?
I think both teams struggled in passing today. I think maybe at the end, the team that passed better was the one that won, but I think both teams had struggled at times, and at critical times, the team that needed to pass did pass.
Look ahead to the tournaments for us.
The state tournament, I don't know about the CCC tournament. There's a lot of teams that are still playing right now that will probably be decided in the next couple days.
We talked on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and I asked you the question. I'll ask you again. The states are going to be better for you this time around because, please fill in the blank.
Fill in the blanks. Some of these players have been with me for 4 years. They know me now. They know what I expect and how we come into practice every day. The states is never easy every game, and every team starts off at 0-0. So on any given day, anybody can win.
Congratulations, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Shannon, the response by your team in the 5th and deciding set, how were you guys able to regroup and come back after you had let the 2-0 lead get away?
I feel like after the 2-0 lead, we focused. We were like, we need to do this. Let's get it done, and we did, and it was great.
Your serving was terrific at times tonight.
Thank you.
What do you look forward to the most in the state tournament? Coach told me on the phone, he said, you guys are really disappointed last year, and this year you guys really dedicated to the cause, so it's going to be different this time, huh?
I'm really looking forward to some competitive competition and just like getting out there and just having the experience to be there and maybe do better than we did last year. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Congratulations on this win and enjoy the tournament. Thank you.
Nina, you were unbelievable at the net at times tonight. How'd you get it done?
Practice. Our coach makes us, we practice every single day so hard. Passing drills, hitting drills, defensive drills, offensive drills. We just do everything at practice, and just practice makes perfect.
You know, one thing that I noticed, I looked at the coach a lot of times tonight, and he's laughing and smiling, and he tries to keep the mood light, I can tell. And it looks like that you guys have such great camaraderie. Is that really the key? You guys really like each other and play for each other?
Yeah, this year we are a very close team. From my 4 years, this is the closest I've ever been with my team. We all get along, and we all just support each other so much.
Well, congratulations on the win, and go get them in the tournament, okay?
Thank you so much.
Hall victorious here tonight. They win it in a 5-match thriller, 3-2, dropped the first 2, did Conard. Conard came roaring back, forced the game 5, but again, it was Hall coming out with the victory here tonight. Many thanks to our fine crew. Thanks to Paul and Dennis who make it happen. And we'll join you again next week for soccer action on Tuesday and field hockey action on Wednesday. For John Beignet, Pete Lamoureux saying thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.